We have to quickly get IT support. We've got Rachel here, an amazing friend from Clinico, amazing IT support. So many wonderful things about the developing world, about Nepal. Obviously a few challenges as well. One of them is unreliability at times, but back to you, Kesh.
Yeah, and we're talking about the organized business of the orphanage. So we're one of the first organizations in Nepal actually to blow the whistle against it in 2013. And if you look at the preliminary data, you'll find like 90% of these orphanages are registered in tourist areas of Nepal. So that it's a business of sympathy, that they can lure the Westerners, foreigners, tourists to come to visit our country. And most of these tourists, they have no idea what is going on inside the home. So most of the money generated from these donations, big ones, they go for the proprietors themselves. If you speak about the data, there are almost 798 children homes registered in Nepal.
Really? That many?
Yeah.
Wow.
But 90% of them, they don't even meet the basic guidelines. And most of them are politically protected. So most of the money, and I would also like to urge our viewers that when you are making donations to organizations in Nepal, please verify the home that you are going to do it. And that's what we are proud about, the partnership we have with BTO. So, we have our monitoring guidelines in place and verifications in place all the time. So we know where the money is going and how these kids are developing based on the help that you guys are providing, actually. So thank you so much.
That's great. And what are your plans for the future?
To begin with, we have a lot of plans. We have a lot of energy. So
you have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Just for the last few days with them, we're all worn out. We're very blessed. We've been to many temples. So we'll get to the next year.
Exactly. And regarding the children, for the children's sector, we have plans to go into anti-trafficking campaigns now. A lot of children from Nepal are unfortunately sold in India, which is just across the border, like 3 kilometers away from where we are speaking right now. So, and it's an open border, and most of the time, like, these kids are lured into, like, with other people, like, trying to tell them that they're going to get better home or better education. But sadly, they end up in big factories, corporate factories, like leather factories, mobile companies, and they're being worked there with so much of dangerously working there and full exploitation.
What sort of age are you talking about these kids?
Like we had done some preliminary research on that, and then the age range is from 11 to 15 years old. Very young people. Yeah. And most of the time, even like young kids, when they take them, it's kind of an investment for them if they are more younger. So it's like, they'll invest on the kids for some time, and then when they're ready to do some physical work, then they sell them at a greater price.
So resell.
Exactly. So resell. It's like a commodity,
Yeah.
So but the thing is, like, as all business, it's a demand and supply chain. So when there is a demand, there will be a supply as well. So we are trying to focus on both aspects of this business, trying to create awareness on one side, but at the same time, like, trying to rescue kids and give them the life they deserve.
Terrible. And has trafficking increased in Nepal over the last few years?
Yes, it has, and it has increased, and it has actually taken different forms of trafficking. So, back in the day, like, trafficking would be related with sex trafficking only, but now, there are a lot of cases coming with, organ trafficking, skin trafficking, as well as, like, young girls being taken to India, and then, as I said earlier, like, keeping them for some time, and when they reach a certain age, then they're sent out to, like, forced into prostitution and stuff like that.
Terrible.
So these ways and these forms are being taken in different directions. And the sad part is, like, big guys, big politicians guys, they are the protectors. So they have total impunity when it comes to prosecution. So that's why I wanted to mention our project in the future, that is one of our key areas that we want to prosecute these people and then set up an example that, this is a crime against humanity.
There's no room in our world for trafficking human beings. It's terrible. So, the CEO and founder of Sano Paila, we're very been lucky to have a few days with him. Wonderful friend. It's a great organisation. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for visiting. And one thing lastly I want to kind of mention
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
is when people talk about Nepal, they only think of Himalayas and beautiful mountains, but there's a different area in Nepal which covers 17% of the land, but 50% of the population lives in this area, and it's very unheard of. So it will be great for our supporters that you could spread the word out, especially about our work in this region. Not many bigger NGOs, they don't want to travel here. And I'm really happy to have this lovely partnership with BTUF, especially my team. We get the encouragement as well as we get the all needed support, and the best thing about the partnership is that we are free to do what we think is better for on the ground. So no policies or no decisions are put on us. So we are free to think, and at the end of the day, it's all about the kids, what kind of life we are trying to give to them. So it's a team effort, and thank you for the partnership here from Terry and everyone at BTF and all our guests, and of course our viewers as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just had a message from Kevin. The footage is getting interrupted. I just moved the computer. Kevin, is it better now?
Yeah, if you move it.
We just had a message. Hi guys, just wanted to let you know the footage is getting interrupted regularly. Not catching all of it, unfortunately. Hopefully it's getting better. Just move the computer a little bit closer. So maybe we can bring Ray and have a bit of a chat. I'll swap no, you stay there.
Well, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Ray Kirk, and I'm the director of Beyond the Orphanage Foundation in the United States. And we partnered with the Australian original organization a couple of years ago. And this is my second trip to Nepal, in part doing the due diligence on the organizations that we support here in Nepal. And in part just to enjoy seeing the marvelous work that these programs do with the kids that are now in their care. It's been a very busy time. I was here 8 or 9 months ago in the former facility, which is getting very crowded. It was showing its age and its wear. This new facility is, by all appearances, spectacular. We've only been here for about 20 minutes, so I'm hoping to really do the big tour here in a minute. But we barely had time to greet the children and the staff, and then run into the booth here for the connection. But I want to express my appreciation for everybody who's watching, becoming educated about what we do, who we are. Wherever you're watching, the organizations in Australia and the United States work hand in hand with our in-country partners here in Nepal and frankly elsewhere in the world where we have programs. We rely on your interest, your support. We encourage you to become educated about the countries where we work, the regions in those countries where we work, the social conditions, the exigencies that these children live under. And we, of course, encourage you to help us fulfill the mission of Beyond the Orphanage Foundation. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being interested. Thank you for caring.
Sure. So Ray, I thought maybe we could, yesterday we put some photos up of the opening that we had down in Janikpur.
Yeah.
And I thought this might be a nice opportunity to talk through what happened yesterday.
Well, it was really an interesting ceremony because the facility, which is yet to be inhabited, just in the tail ends of its renovation. But the community support that we observed was really quite remarkable. There was, of course, the formal aspects to it. The local chief of police was there. The state minister for the region of social development was there. That's a tremendous plus for the organization as it moves to get going in that particular location, because it it's a symbol, more than a symbol. It's an actual realization of the cooperation and the partnerships that the Sano Paila program is establishing with the community. And it's the house itself is located in a particular ward, and in terms of the local politics and social and political structure, there were several ward representatives there, including the head ward representative, who all attended the ceremony with the appropriate speeches from everybody who's had an interest, had a stake in the game, so to speak. And there was a house next door where there were perhaps 8 or 9 children residing, and one by one they kind of trickled in around the edges of the gate and moved into the empty seat. So we had a full audience of both the dignitaries, the program people, the ward people who were supporting us by being there, came in to learn about the program, and then the kids. The kids were great. And at the close of the formal ceremonies, we planted 8 or 10 trees in the courtyard of the facility, which is still raw sand, so fortunately it was not an arduous labor. But we had some small holes that we planted some mango trees, and I'm hoping that, probably not the next time I'm here, but within the next couple of years, we'll be eating mangoes from the trees in the courtyard. And it'll give the kids who arrive, something to do, to tend to nurture the trees along. But I have a picture of myself tapping dirt with the Minister of Social Welfare, which I expect I'll get framed when I go home. So it was a really good ceremony.
I think it was a highlight for me yesterday as well. I planted a pomegranate tree, and the idea that the trees will grow as the children are growing, and the kids are going to be able to, in the future, enjoy the fruit that was planted yesterday. I think it's a really nice sentiment. Yeah.
Great hopes and great expectations for that facility. So it's the first of its kind in the job corps area, and similarly to the Sano Paila program here in Burgunge, which is also first of its kind. Hopefully, will become a model for the government to want to emulate, to see additional facilities like this and expansion, as there is more recognition of the conditions under which these children live, the degree to which they're exploited, the exposure of the fake or false orphanage business, and then the attempts to work with local law enforcement and the legal system to recapture these children from their circumstances, their dire circumstances in many cases, and offer them an opportunity to be reintegrated into Nepalese society, hopefully reconnected sometimes with families when that can happen. When it can't, to create a substitute family, or at least provide the most home-like setting for these children, assuring that they're receiving education, health care, food, nutrition, and loving care from the program staff.
It's quite a development from when, in 2015, when Beyond the Orphanage started working with Sano Paila, where Sano Paila had rescued a number of children that had been trafficked. And that program was, I think, as Kanchan mentioned before, they had a group of children which they were in their care. So some of the children from the original rescue had been able to be returned to their families. And there was a lot of work done, because usually the children that are trafficked originally are from really remote areas, and that's part of the part of the scheme, if you like, that it can be quite challenging then to find where the children's families are originally. So there was a lot of work done by our in-country partners to make sure that the children that could be returned back to their families were reconnected. And the several children that couldn't be returned are the original children from the Burgunge program. And they've been provided with a lot of trauma counselling. They're also going to school. They've got the family set up now with house mother, and the program has grown in the last few years to now incorporate children that, as we just spoke about before, were identified by the government in need of assistance for long-term care. So that's how the program here is expanded, and now seeing it expand into Janet Gore's.
Yeah. Expanding and evolving in terms of increasing the number of concerned partners and becoming, I think, more integrated into the mechanisms of the local government and the local legal system, which is essential because those of us who are on camera right now and who you've just seen really have no political or legal authority here. We rely on the in-country staff who have developed and run the programs to assure us and to assure the kids and assure the community that these new partnerships are being formed and are working, and children are being retrieved from these dire situations which they find themselves.
So happy to accept any questions if anyone wants to shoot some through. We're here. Otherwise, I'm pretty excited to go and say hello.
Yeah, I am too. I saw half a dozen kids who I recognized from January, and I'm sure some new faces. So I'm kind of eager to get out, shake some hands, and muff some hair, and act like a grandpa.
All right, guys. Well, it's been great to check in with you, and namaste. Enjoy your day.
Namaste.
Bye.
I think the connection was.
Kevin just said that it was on the improve, so it's good.
Oh, and live video.